So we did an editorial here last Tuesday when we were discussing conflict of interest, and we cited three gentlemen who could have themselves in a similar situation as the current ministers of state who have done business in bond markets and all of those things. We cited the first example to be Adom-Otchere, the Agbogbo of Asogli, and he has a company called Strategic African Securities. And we made a point about the fact that that company does a good job, and they've been working for government after government, including this government, in which you will consider Adom-Otchere to be an opposite person because of his comments and all of that, whatever it is. But even in this government, he's been working. And that if tomorrow he becomes Minister of Finance, the only requirement for the perceived conflict of interest is for him to disclose his beneficial interest in Strategic African Securities and then promise to recuse himself. The point we were making is that this so-called animal that they call conflict of interest, it's there, it's recognized by the law, it's recognized by the Constitution, but there are remedies created to it. We found out and told you last Thursday that the remedies created for it in America are the same remedies created for it in the United Kingdom, okay? The remedies are simple. A person must disclose and a person must recuse himself. The point we made in terms of our nation-building conversations is that if we do not want this to continue as a people, Chairman Sabonso has just inaugurated a committee for constitutional amendment. Let's write memoranda and say that criminalize conflict of interest or prohibit it. That's all we are saying. We are not saying it is bad, it is good. No, that's not the point. The point we are making is about the future, and it's about nation building. That this conflict of interest that you point out against one person can be pointed out against another. So we indicated the history of the Ministry of Finance and people who had been there, who were clear beneficial owners of some of the institutions that are within and under the Ministry of Finance, banks and insurance companies. We made all these indications, and thankfully, our people and opponents did not come back on that because those are facts. I keep saying that the things we say here, they are all true. There's nothing we say here that's untrue. So you can't see us. In fact, when the SAS guy wrote to me, and I can show you the text, when he wrote to me, I noticed that in his statements, he was urging me, so you have to retract, and I thought he was suggesting something about legal action. I laughed, and I wrote back to him. I said, Chief, this your threat of legal action is hogwash. If I say that you earn money and you didn't earn the money, it is not defamatory. Defamation is saying something that makes you look bad in the eyes of the right-thinking members of the society. So if I say you earned 100 cedis, not that you stole it, you earned it, and you say, no, I only earned 70, that's not defamation. I'm sure that went into the statement. So then I asked him, you say you didn't earn 40 million. How much you did earn? He wouldn't answer. I went back again. I said, how much? What, did you earn more or less than that? He still wouldn't answer. That also finds expression in the statement about how much they earn. So I'll deal with it. First, though, let me show you the video they are complaining about. The video that Strategic African Securities is complaining about. It's a short video about what I said here. Please, can you play the video? Let me show you photographs of three men whose companies have been listed here, who could easily become either Minister of Finance or Governor of the Bank of Ghana. The first one is Adom-Otchere. Now, Adom-Ochere's company is SAS. SAS, as you have seen, Strategic African Securities, have been involved in the borrowing. SAS has made at least 40, 50 million cedis to 100 million cedis since 2014 on this matter. All right. SAS has made 40 to 150 million cedis since 2014 on this matter. SAS says, we have not made that amount of money. What we have made is far less than what you said. That's all what the fight is about. So let's go to their statement and read it. All right. So it is entitled Surrejoinder. It's by the Strategic African Securities Finance Group. And it's Strategic African Securities made 40 to 100 million as transaction advisory fee from the government of Ghana on bond issues. There's one reason why I agree with them making this statement, and it's about tax purposes. You see, because if I think they take me very seriously, and I'm happy about that. If an important program says you've made this amount of money, immediately the tax people are going to call you. So to that extent, I agree with making the statement. That's why we're going to publish their rejoinder. Because if the taxman comes and says, hey, good evening, Ghana said you made 40 to 100 million in our tax books. That's not what we have here. So you have underdeclared. So to that extent, they need to make the statement. I get that quite clearly. So we are going to read it out. So taxman, forget about what we said. SAS are telling us what they made. But they don't tell us how much money they made, actually. They just say that they made less than 40. 39 million is less than 40. 37 is less than 40. I'm not so sure why in Ghana people don't like to publish these things. Because why not? Just say that we didn't make 40 million, we made 18. That's it. But they said we made far less than that. That part of the statement. Anyway, let's get to it. And now it starts as follows. They say, our attention has been drawn to an editorial by Mr. Paul Adom-Otchere on Thursday, August 18. SAS, please, one thing about me. I don't like the Mr. thing. Just Paul Adom-Otchere, please. So SAS, whether you like it or not, I'll tell you. Next time you're writing about me, remove the Mr. I don't like it. So cancel Mr. and say, our attention has been drawn to an editorial by Paul Adom-Otchere. The Mr. thing, I don't like it. You see, the name Paul is a very important name. The guy was coming from Damascus, and the Lord Jesus met him, and he gave him a name. I carry such a, put Mr. in front of. What is Mr.? I don't want Mr. Paul, major name, the greatest apostle in the Bible. That's whom I was named after. So I don't want Mr. I don't want it. Even if I become doctor, I won't use it. Paul is major. Please, do you remember Paul Ince and Paul Gascoigne? Anyway, let's get on to it. Our attention has been drawn to an editorial by Paul Adom-Otchere on Thursday, August 18, 2022 edition of Metro TV's Good Evening Ghana program, in which he said, among other misrepresentations, that SAS made 40 to 100 million in advisory fees on various government of Ghana bond issuances since 2014. We wish to state categorically that the above statement is false, misleading, and was made with malicious intent. Correction. We have never made any statement here with malicious intent, and you cannot even establish that. So why do you say it? Or is it that it's a normal cliche? So when you're writing, let's say yes, they're a very great company. They don't write cliches. We don't make statements with malicious intent. What malice are we carrying out by saying that you are an important person, you have strategic African securities, you do business for government? Where is the malicious? Or the malice, just use it. No, malicious means a lot. It is impugning something to us, and we will deny it. I have never been actuated by malice. SAS, please get that, correct that. It is not malicious. You can say that all you want. We are sure that you will not be able to establish it. Okay, good. We wish to state categorically that the above statement is false, misleading, and was made with malicious intent. Yes, it may be false, it may be misleading, but it was not made with malicious intent. The incontrovertible facts are as follows. All right, let's go on. That's what I like. You see, they didn't come and say, oh, Paul Adom-Otchere is a fool. No, they don't. They say yes, they are serious people. They don't do that. Anybody who does that is not he should be examining his head or her head. Anybody with that. Somebody says something, he says he's a fool. No, he's a fool. Saying, come and say, you see, they said that what you said is not true. These are the facts. That's how we deal with it. It's only people who cannot understand it. You see, they do those things. Their head cannot understand it because they don't want to do the work. That's all. It's laziness. It's not that anybody's head is better than anybody. Nobody was born with it. We all work at it. But those who are lazy, they just like gossiping. They don't want to read a book. They come up and do those things. Okay, let's get on with it. Okay, so these are the incontrovertible facts that they are addressing. 1, SAS acted as co-managers of Government of Ghana Euro bond issuance in 2014 and 2015, and as sub-co-managers of 2019 and 2020 Euro bond issues. Okay, all right. So back to the political question that we raised. Notice the years in which SAS do their work. 2014 and 2015 is Setekpe's era, no problem. 2019 and 2020 is Ken Ofori-Attah's era. And the Setekpe is NDC, Ken Ofori-Attah is opposite. But Strategic Africa Securities qualify in both instances, irrespective of the political links of their founder, Togbe Afede. Irrespective of that, I don't know what Togbe Afede's political links are, but I'm just making the point that irrespective of the political links of Togbe Afede, his company was selected by government and was paid by government, because when you do that work, you get paid. Even if you don't get paid 40 million, you get paid something. This is the point we have been making. And same with Ken Ofori-Attah, whose company was selected in 2014. Is it the case, therefore, that when he becomes Minister of Finance, the company should not do that business? I'm throwing the question to you. Let's make a decision and say, no, you can't. So that if Togbe Afede becomes Finance Minister and they do a bond issuance, and then they put it up there for people to apply, and SAS apply and say that we were there in 2014, we were there in 2015, we were there in 2019, we were there in 2020, and then in 2027, you say that he is Finance Minister, so they should stop. I think it's a bad argument. Some people think it's a good argument. It's a decision for us to make as a nation, right? Okay, so SAS outlined 4 different bond issues in which they participated. 2 from Setekpe, 2 from Ken Ofori-Attah. 1, they were paid by Setekpe. The others, they were paid by Ken Ofori-Attah and Charles Edubuain. All right? 2, SAS was also appointed through a competitive bidding process as joint book runner of the Adom-Otchere domestic bond issuance program from late 2015 to 2017. You see, they put there that they were appointed through competitive bidding. Same as Data Bank, appointed through competitive bidding. Whether Oforiatta is minister or he is not, it's competitive bidding. And this is what people cannot understand. I'm not saying it's good or it's bad. I'm saying this is how it works. If we don't like it, we should pass laws to outlaw it. We should pass regulation to prohibit it. You cannot just talk about that anyhow. They are saying they came through competitive bidding, and this process, I will show you the interview with Eric, you hear it. This process, it always goes through competitive bidding, almost automated. So if you are a finance minister, you cannot do anything about it. It's like let me not labor that. I said that in the interview, you see it. So SAS was also appointed through a competitive bidding process as joint book runner of the Adom-Otchere domestic bond issuance program from late 2015 to late 2017. 3, with regards to the Adom-Otchere domestic bond program, the mandate of the joint book runners expired at the end of 2017. There was an invitation for new tenders thereafter, and SAS submitted a bid but was not selected. Okay, so they are suggesting all kinds of things. They say that they selected a bid, but they were given a bid, but they were not selected. SAS should tell us why they were, because they will not just not select you, they will write to you and tell you something. If they didn't get any letter, they should tell us that. If they got a letter that indicated why they were not selected, they should tell us that too. But this is where you see the disingenuous thing. Some of it is here. All right, let's move on. In respect of the multi-year Eurobond program instituted in late 2019, the foreign advisors on behalf of the government of Ghana sent an email to SAS in March 2021 with a letter for us to sign to withdraw from the program. Please find attached the email and the said letter below. Great, I like their paragraph 4. They are alleging something. They said somebody wrote to them and asked them to withdraw, and they have attached the email. But in 3, where they said that they were not selected, they don't attach any letter which indicated why they were not selected. They don't. I don't know whether there's one, but they don't. But if there is, they should, so that we can have a comprehensive understanding of what has happened. Okay? All right. So they said somebody wrote to them in 2021 and said they should sign to withdraw. All right, cool. We wish to state that the total fees earned by SAS from these mandates did not amount to, but was actually far less than 40 million, and thus cannot be presented as falling between 40 million and 100 million, as stated by Paul Adom-Otchere on Good Evening Ghana. Okay, well taken. SAS, you didn't earn 40 million as I said. You said you earned far less. Can you, in the spirit of freedom of information, tell us actually how much you earn? This issue of, we've received allowances and a lot of allowances, so we don't want ex gratia, without naming the allowances, it doesn't help the conversation. Let's get the facts, so we'll deal with it. You did not receive 40 million. We accept that. You received far less. What is the figure that you received? Because whatever figure you received, it was paid to you by the government of Ghana. And therefore, people of Ghana can be interested in the information. And I am interested in the information. So if you can, tell us what you actually got. We said you got 40 million. You said you didn't get 40 million. We will defer to you on that one because you got the money. Okay. So what did you get from government of Ghana? So that we all know how much it is. And this issue of you don't want to disclose because you don't want it to look in a certain way. Disclose. Tell us. Was it 39, 38, 37, 36, 18, 14, 7, 6, 2? Otherwise, we will use freedom of information to get the facts from you because the law has been passed by Akufo-Addo. We can use freedom of information. SAS know that we can use freedom of information to get information. They know that more than anyone else. So if you don't tell us, we will come and put it here that this is what SAS got. So hurry up and tell us. We want to know. People of Ghana are interested. It was Ghana that paid you the money. Come and tell us. You didn't get 40. What did you get? Don't be... Okay. All right. So this is the most important paragraph for us. We wish to state that the total fees earned by SAS from these mandates did not amount to, but was actually far less than 40 million, and thus cannot be presented as falling between 40 to 100 million, as stated by Paul Adom-Otchere. Very well taken. But the onus is back on you. The ball is back in your court. SAS, I pray thee, SAS, Freedom of Information Act says that you should give us the information. If you don't, we will apply for it. come and write it here. We'll write it here. The SAS, this is what you got. And you know we can get the information through the Freedom of Information Act. Actually, as I speak, I know it. SAS, I know it. I know. Because since you put this out yesterday, I've been researching, I've asked. I have been told the figure. But don't you know the figure went to Parliament? It's in the parliamentary record. It's there. It's a calculation of something. So we just calculate the 0 point something. We know what you earn. So hurry up and say, otherwise I'll come and say it. All right. Okay. We find the disingenuous attempt by Mr. Paul Adom-Otchere to draw SAS and its founder, Adom-Otchere, into the current debate about the apparent and patent conflict of interest in selection of firms to act as bond market specialists very distasteful. SAS, this is a very serious statement you are making. You are stockbrokers on the market. You understand what happens, and this is what you are saying, that we are drawing Adom-Otchere into what SAS describes as apparent and patent conflict of interest in the selection of firms to act at bond market. SAS, are you saying that in the selection of firms there's conflict of interest? You shouldn't be saying that. You are a brokerage firm. You know how these things work. You know there's a process. You know there are criteria, but you are saying here, and you are calling somebody disingenuous, and you come and write a big company like that. You are, if investors see this, do you know what is going to happen? You are SAS. You are such an important company. You write this, publish it, and agree that the processes that you have participated in, it is laced with patent conflict of interest in the selection of firms. SAS, you can't say this. This is very unprofessional for SAS to say that the argument about patent conflict of interest. SAS, I don't know which lawyers wrote this, but didn't it occur to somebody that we are a brokerage firm, like you're a bank? You can't write, you don't have any basis for this, and you say it. You are a serious company like that. You see what happens when you get drawn into things you shouldn't get drawn into. It's a serious company. Look at what they say again. We find disingenuous attempt by Paul Adom-Otchere to draw SAS and founder Adom-Otchere into the current debate about apparent. This is very dangerous. A company like SAS should not be writing this and publishing it in the period where you are, when you have advised government of Ghana on bonds. You are telling the world that in the arrangement and selection, there is patent conflict of interest. When you are aware that there's a criteria, SAS, Data Bank, IC Securities, Blackstar, none of them should be able to say this. Look at SAS, look at what they are writing. SAS, you shouldn't say this. You should never say this. You are such an important company. When you issue a statement, these things should not be in it. You should issue a statement devoid of emotion, put the facts out, and that's how you started. You said you are putting out the incontrovertible facts. Yes, but this one is also incontrovertible facts. This is what you are calling part of the incontrovertible facts, SAS. This one, this is their last paragraph. And so in the last paragraph, they try, you are not a political party or some NGO. You are not Arise Ghana and Fix the Country and Let My Vote Count. You are not that, SAS. You are not Let My Vote Count. You are not Fix the Country. You are a serious company that we all respect. You cannot put insinuations in your statement and say that there is a patent conflict of interest in the selection of firms to act as bond market specialists. You can't say that I'm drawing you into the current argument when you know there's a criteria. And you know that if IC Securities has beaten you the criteria, they've beaten you fair and square. If Data Bank has beaten you, they've beaten you. If you have beaten Blackstar, you have beaten Blackstar fair and square. You all work together because of politics. See what you are writing. I mean, when I read this, I said, oh my goodness. SAS. Wow. You are calling this thing patent conflict of interest. We the people who talk, media, we can be saying these things. So for instance, when I said SAS earned 40 to 100 million, I mean, I can be forgiven for saying that. But somebody who works in the sector, who knows what they get, cannot be forgiven. So when you tell me you didn't earn 40 million, fair enough. I pull it back. But you cannot say this, SAS. This is dangerous for Ghana. Very, very dangerous. How can you write this? That there's patent conflict of interest in the selection of firms. I'm sorry about that. I'm really, really sorry to read this from a company that deserves all our respect. Really, really sorry. Okay, what else do they want us to do? I'll leave it here.